Ha guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriorstrade worried at all about Jimmy Butler's ankle injury? This is the story that's got everyone talking across the NBA, and for good reason. After all the excitement and speculation surrounding Butler's potential arrival in Golden State, this sudden injury scare has sent shockwaves through the Warriors community. Because when you're talking about a player of Jimmy Butler's caliber, a competitor, a warrior in his own right, and potentially the key piece to another championship run, any sign of injury can completely change the outlook of a season before it even begins. Reports started surfacing that Jimmy Butler had tweaked his ankle during an off-season workout session. At first, the whispers were small, the type of chatter that comes and goes quickly in the NBA rumor mill. But then, photos and short clips began to emerge, showing Butler limping slightly while leaving a Miami training facility. Almost instantly, Warriors fans began asking the big question. If Golden State is serious about bringing Butler into their mix, how much of a concern is this ankle injury really? Now, let's get one thing straight. Right off the top, Jimmy Butler is one of the toughest players in the entire NBA. This is the same guy who's played through knee soreness, shoulder strains, sprained ankles, and even illness during playoff runs. His nickname, Playoff Jimmy, didn't come from nowhere. He thrives in adversity. He embraces the grind, and he's built his entire career on being the guy who doesn't back down from pain. But even with all that said, ankle injuries are no small matter, especially for a player who relies heavily on explosiveness, quick lateral movement, and relentless defense. The timing of this couldn't be more sensitive either. Their Warriors have reportedly been in advanced internal discussions about adding Butler, weighing what it would take to bring him in and what kind of impact he'd have on their championship aspirations. Everyone in the organization, from Stephen Curry to Steve Kerr to the front office, knows what a player like Butler brings to the table. He's a leader. He's a competitor. He's someone who could instantly change the Warriors' toughness level on both ends of the floor. But if he's not 100% healthy, that changes everything. Their Warriors medical staff, known for being extremely thorough, is said to be keeping a close eye on updates surrounding Butler's status. They understand exactly how tricky ankle injuries can be. Sometimes what looks like a mild sprain can linger for weeks, even months. We've seen this movie before. Players push to come back quickly, but they lose that half step of speed or confidence when making cuts or explosive movements. For a player like Butler, who uses his body like a weapon, even a small hesitation could impact his effectiveness. And let's not forget, the Warriors have been through this kind of uncertainty before. They've had their share of injury scares with stars like Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. The last thing they want is to invest heavily, both financially and emotionally, in a new star who's not fully healthy heading into the grind of an 82-game season. The team's recent history has taught them one lesson above all else. Health determines everything. When they're healthy, they're contenders. When they're not, everything falls apart. So, are they worried? Sources close to the situation suggest that while the Warriors aren't panicking, they're definitely cautious. There's respect for Jimmy's toughness, but also an understanding that he's 35 years old and has a lot of mileage on his body from years of playoff battles. Their Warriors front office, led by Mike Dunleavy Jr., is reportedly asking all the right questions. How severe is the injury? What's the recovery timeline? How is his ankle held up in the past? These are not just curiosity questions. They determine whether this deal is worth the risk. On the flip side, some insiders believe the injury concern might actually play in Golden State's favor. If Butler's market value dips slightly due to these worries, it could give the Warriors leverage in trade or contract negotiations. Remember, the NBA is as much about timing as it is about talent. A minor injury might give Golden State the chance to secure Butler at a more reasonable price, making a potential blockbuster move a little easier to swallow financially. Let's take a step back for a second and talk about why the Warriors are even so interested in Butler in the first place. The fit is almost too perfect. He brings grit, defense, leadership, and that fiery competitiveness that's sometimes been missing from Golden State since the days when Draymond Green was at his emotional peak. Butler's ability to guard the opponent's best player, facilitate offense when Curry is off the ball, and step up in crunch time makes him an ideal piece for this system. His mentality aligns with the Warriors' championship DNA. That's why fans are so invested in this story. But here's the harsh truth. Their Warriors know better than anyone that sometimes great fits on paper don't translate when injuries get involved. They learned that with DeMarcus Cousins, who joined the team after a devastating Achilles tear and was never the same. They saw it with Klay Thompson's heartbreaking back-to-back injuries that sidelined him for 2 full seasons. Golden State doesn't want another what-if situation. If they're going to add Butler, they need him ready, motivated, and physically sound. As of now, reports indicate Butler's injury is being described as minor, and he's expected to be fully ready for the start of training camp. That's the good news. But the Warriors aren't just looking at day one. They're thinking about months down the line. They're thinking about April, May, and June. Because for this franchise, it's never just about surviving the regular season. It's about paying at the right time and staying healthy when the games matter most. Stephen Curry, who's been vocal about his desire for another championship push, would absolutely love to play alongside Butler. The two share similar competitive mindsets. Curry's calm fire and Butler's raw intensity could create one of the most intriguing locker room dynamics in the league. But you can bet that Curry, who's been through his own share of ankle problems early in his career, understands just how delicate this situation is. Nobody knows the long-term risks of ankle issues better than him. Warriors Nation, this is the moment where caution meets hope. The front office is doing its due diligence. Fans are holding their breath, and Jimmy Butler is reportedly pushing hard to make sure he's ready to go. If all goes well, we could be looking at one of the most exciting duos in recent NBA history. Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler sharing the floor, both driven by the same goal, one more championship. So, Warriors fans, what do you think? Is this ankle injury something to be genuinely concerned about or just a minor speed bump on the way to something bigger? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you're still confident in Jimmy's toughness, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest updates. The countdown to the new season is on, and all eyes are on the Bay as the Warriors gear up for what could be another unforgettable year. Stay tuned because this story is just beginning.